a special edition episode with an hour-long Q&A with yours truly. Stick around!
Welcome to Business Edge Radio, the show that gives you tips, tricks, tools, and techniques about how to build a more profitable business, while at the same time creating your perfect lifestyle. It's a show about working less and living more. A few golden nuggets, a little bit of wisdom, and over 35 years of business experience to help you keep your edge. Lifestyle entrepreneur, best-selling author, internationally renowned business speaker, and daddy of three, Mitch Graff brings the heat with actionable techniques for building the business and lifestyle of your dreams. Now your host, Mitch Graff.
Well, hello there, Unleashed Tribe, and welcome to this very special edition of Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and your life. I'm your host, Mitch Graff, and I have to say that we cover an awful lot of ground here on each episode, and we've created quite a groundswell of support across the country and around the world, and for that, I'm so grateful. One of the things that makes me the most excited is when we get questions from listeners from far and wide, and the entire hour today is dedicated to answering those questions, kind of like a private Q&A, you might say. Whether you are an old-timer or a young'un, I think you might be able to pull out some valuable nuggets along the way. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Pay attention to some of the nuances of the answers and see if you can apply the knowledge to whatever corner of the business ocean that you tend to swim in. If you want to submit your question to the show, simply send an email to info@powermarketing101.com and maybe, just maybe, I'll answer your question on the air. And if I do, we'll send you an autographed copy of my book, High Voltage Branding. Go from ordinary to extraordinary as my gift to you. So let's get into this special edition of Business Edge Radio and dive deep into my mailbag.
Here's my email address.
Use the email. We get your mail. Let's dive into Mitch's mailbag and answer some of your burning questions.
Man, oh man, I love getting emails from our listeners, and I love reading them on the air. So let's see what's in our mailbag this week. First question is from Genevieve in Glasgow, Scotland. Thank you very much, Genevieve, for your question. I've had the same business card for many years, but I've had friends tell me it's time for a different design. My thoughts are, if it's not broke, don't fix it. What are your thoughts? Well, Genevieve, your business card is on what I call the front line of offense when it comes to promoting your business and creating an impression in people's brains. If I had 100 business owners in the same room and got a business card from each of them, laid them out on a table, I would venture to say that 95 out of 100 would kind of look the same shape, the same type of information, the same treatments, and that's about it. One of the basic principles of good branding and good marketing is to find out what everyone else in your market is doing, and then don't do that. And your business card is a great opportunity, Genevieve, to really separate your business in the minds of your prospects or your customers. I want to ask everyone a question. Are you willing to pay, let's say, $1 for one business card? You're probably going to say, no, heck no, that's way too much money. Here's another question. What if that business card helps you close a $1,000 customer or a $50,000 customer? Would you be willing to pay $1 for it then? That changes the perspective, doesn't it? And remember, once you make an impression in the mind of the consumer, it's very difficult to change their minds. If you are one of those people who thinks that spending $9.95 for 1,000 cards from your online printer is a savvy business move, I want you to rethink that. There's square cards, there's folded cards, diamond-shaped cards, embossed letterpress, extra thick, foiled cards. You can even get a business card that is custom printed and die cut in the shape of whatever you want it to be. And remember, the goal of your business card is not just to give people a way to contact you, that's a given. It's to establish an impression, a perceived value for you, for your business, for whatever it is you're trying to sell. So remember that when deciding on how much you're willing to spend on a single business card. In that context, do you really want to spend $10 for 1,000 cards? Hopefully not. And just remember, Genevieve, in today's competitive world, you have to look different, You have to feel different. You have to be different than your competition, or customers will not have a compelling reason to do business with you. So, short answer is this. Yes, it's time for a fresh and reinvigorated business card. Thanks for the question. Next question is from Stephen in Greeley, Colorado, the beautiful Rocky Mountains. His question is, how do I go about picking colors for my website and marketing flyers? Great question. And my answer is, it really doesn't matter. I can refer you to countless studies that show that green attracts a certain type of demo, red attracts a certain demo, yellow, etc., etc. But really, it doesn't matter. What colors do you want to represent your brand? Hey, it's your business being built on your personality, your preferences, and your favorite colors. If you're a high-end business, you'll need to take that into consideration when selecting things like your background colors. But bottom line, go with colors that make you feel comfortable. Okay? That's a great question. If you have a question that you would like me to answer on the show, send an email to info@powermarketing101.com. That's info@powermarketing101.com. And I might just select your question to read on the air. You never know. If you know anything about me, you know that I love my early mornings, and I really love a good cup of fresh roasted coffee. There's nothing better than getting started before the rest of the world with a good cup of joe. That's why I'm so excited to have Mountain Creek Coffee as a partner. The process is so simple. You order, they roast, they ship, you enjoy. They don't roast your beans until an order is placed, which guarantees the absolute freshest coffee that you can get. Check out their artisan dark roast, medium roast, or decaf beans at mtncreekcoffee.com. And when you put in the code EDGE at checkout, you will receive 20% off your first order. I prefer the dark roast because of its full body and bold flavor. You order, they roast, they ship, you enjoy. Log on to mtncreekcoffee.com and enter the code EDGE at checkout, and you will receive a 20% discount off your first order. Pretty cool stuff. Mountain Creek Coffee and Business Edge Radio, a partnership brewed out of the love of coffee. See what I did right there? In today's business world, it is vitally important that you understand what I call the 7 pillars of business success, which are lifestyle design, time management, branding, sales, marketing, pricing, and social media. Regardless of what industry you're in, and whether you have a brick and mortar or you're only online, having a solid foundation in these skill sets will set you up for success down the road. And to personally help you with your journey, I've come out with the Business Edge podcast, which you're listening to right this second, and I've also written a book that I can highly recommend called Business Basics Bootcamp, the ultimate crash course, now available on Amazon.com, and will give you the 30,000-foot view of all these topics and many, many more. You know, reading is something that is slowly being replaced by videos and audiobooks or just scrolling through your newsfeed on social media, but I've always found reading to be kind of an escape from whatever is happening in the world. This book will help you slow down just a little bit so you can get your business house in order, so to speak, and get your creative juices a-flowing. Log on to Amazon.com today and get your copy of Business Basics Bootcamp, the ultimate crash course. You can search my name, Mitch Graff, or search the title of the book. In the dog-eat-dog world of business success, the weak will perish and the strong will survive. Which will you be?
Here's my email address.
Use the email. We get your mail. Let's dive into Mitch's mailbag and answer some of your burning questions.
Well, I have to say that even though the show's only been going about 6 weeks, the amount of emails we've been getting has been absolutely tremendous, and we're loving it. Keep it coming. And I thought it would be helpful if I answered a few questions each week that we are getting from our listeners. So let's see what's in the mailbag today. First of all, this is from Renee in Santa Monica. Beautiful city, the best sushi bars. And she says, I've wanted to start my own business for many years, but have been too afraid to try. And now that I have the resources of time and money to be able to do it, I'm worried that I may have missed the boat. How do you feel about starting a new business in the clothing industry? Well, first of all, congratulations for having the guts and the vision to even want to try. it does take a very special person to be your own boss. But to your point, Renee, it's never too late to launch your idea and to go after your dreams. And it doesn't matter if you're in the clothing industry or dog grooming industry, have an internet marketing company or anything else. It doesn't matter. Most people that have a passion for something, they call it a hobby, and that's as far as it ever will get. And that's totally fine, but for the chosen few who want to make that passion and take it and turn it into a living and a breathing, living organism, you've been given a higher calling, and it sounds like you might be one of those chosen few, Renee. And I don't know about your financial situation enough to give more thoughts on what your next step should be, but what I do know is that if you don't give this a try, you may have regrets down the road, and that's not a good thing. That's not to say that you need to go all in from the start. Any risks that you take should be measured risks, meaning that you limit the downside potential. But sitting down and doing what I call popcorning your ideas onto a piece of paper is the first step. If you've already done that, then I recommend you have a conversation with your banker or a business advisor to discuss the financial side of things. Hey, starting a business is like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. You can't eat it all at once. So just because you decide to go to the next rung on the ladder, so to speak, doesn't mean that you are deciding to go all in. Do it in steps. Keep your passions going, Renee, and you may find out that you have just been a dormant entrepreneur for all these years, and you didn't even know it. All right. This email comes from Sam and Val in Toronto, Canada. Hey, Mitch, loving your show up here in the Great White North. We've shared your show with several friends of ours and am stoked about a business concept that we have. I haven't heard that word stoked in a long time. We've been married 24 years and have never worked together before. We have an idea for a business that would require both of us in order to be successful. I'm a long-haul truck driver, and my wife is an office manager for a local insurance agent. Our idea is to start this on the side and see how it goes before we do anything foolish like quit our jobs. Well, that's good. My question is this: do you recommend married couples working together? Man, that's a loaded question. I'm not sure if I want to challenge this one. First of all, thanks for sharing the love up in the Great White North. I really appreciate it. Well, speaking from the perspective of both an entrepreneur and a husband, I can say a couple of things. It's great that you both want to work together, but it's going to be vitally important that you lay down some rules and some guidelines right from the get-go, which is going to save you both a lot of headaches down the road. First of all, you need to make sure that you guys divide and conquer when it comes to the responsibilities of the business. Make a list of all the job duties, and maybe you've already done this. It's going to be required in order to get this concept launched, and I don't know what the concept is, but it doesn't matter. Then you guys can select which duties are in your column. It's kind of like picking teams for dodgeball when you were in school. Remember that? You don't want to be doing the same thing, so it's important that you separate the duties between you and your spouse. Hopefully, your superpowers and your skill sets are different, which will make this task go much smoother. If you have a strength for, let's just say, networking or getting up in front of people, giving talks, and your spouse doesn't, well, it makes it pretty easy to decide. Over the years, I've had my mom work for me, my stepfather work for me, and now my wife and I have been working together for, well, the better part of 20 years, 22 years, and I can honestly say that each time the skill sets that they possessed versus my skill sets were very, very different, or they were just tasks that I didn't like doing. And that also is going to help. If one of you likes to do the networking and the other one doesn't, that makes it very, very simple. So make sure that you both have a clear picture of what your roles are and that there isn't much crossover. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of wasted time and energy. And at the beginning, you don't want that to happen. Your time is very precious, and you need to make sure that you are maximizing that time and the duties and the tasks that you spend your time on, and that you are as efficient as possible. And second, I think even more importantly, you need to make sure that when your work is done at X o'clock, that you actually step across that virtual line in your home, and more importantly in your mind, and leave the work behind. Let's say that you were done at 5 p.m. Well, at 5:01, you need to be done. I mean done. No conversations over dinner about what the day was. Go ahead and debrief, but as far as talking about work, you need to be done with that. It's time to spend time together as a husband and wife, as friends. You need to have time for your children. Very important. In fact, probably one of the most important. Time to water your garden or have an adult beverage. Time just to do your life. Right from the get-go, you need to make sure that your lifestyle goals are defined, your boundaries are established, and that your time is allocated for work and then non-work activities. It's challenging to find that right perfect balance, but trust me when I say it will pay off in spades down the road. Trust me. I've tried to live my version of a 24/7 lifestyle for the better part of 30 years. And to me, that doesn't mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My definition is 24 hours a week, 7 months a year. And I'm not successful with that all the time, but that's always in the forefront of my mind and in my decisions. Like if I'm going to do a new project, start a new business, buy a business, how much time is it going to take? Can I offload some of those responsibilities? And can I make sure that my lifestyle, my personal choices I have for my lifestyle, are they smack dab in the middle of all these goals and objectives for my new activity? Sam and Val, just make sure that you have clearly defined roles and make sure that when it's time to be done, you learn how to switch gears. This is a skill that you will absolutely have to have right from the beginning. Good luck with it and keep me in the loop. And I love getting emails. And if you would like to send us your thoughts and your questions, please send them to info@powermarketing101.com. That's info@powermarketing101, and that's the numbers 101.com. And perhaps you will have your question read on a future show.
Hello, Unleashed Tribe. I am so honored to have you as a loyal listener, and I'm very excited to tell you about the Business Edge Radio app, now available on Apple and Android devices. You can catch up on past episodes, watch short videos of the Business Edge Minute, our 60-second show that gives you quick and easy tips on building a better business and living a better life. And you'll get access to bonus materials that are only available on the app. In fact, I have a nice little PDF bonus waiting for you there right now. Plus, you can email the show, call the show, connect with us on social, check out our website, and even make a nice fluffy omelet. No, you can't really do that. Just go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and you can download the Business Edge Radio app so you can be one of the cool kids on your block. Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and life. Now available in the App Store. Download it today. And if you don't, I'll come visit you on your day off. Fans of Business Edge Radio, I have a very special treat for you. As you know, I love barbecuing and making up any excuse to get myself outdoors. And that's why I'm so excited to partner with Barbecue Nation. They make incredible sauces and rubs and spices and meat shredders and grill scrapers and lots more. And they're offering a deal for our listeners. Check out bbqnation.net. And when you place an order for any of their products, you'll receive a 20% discount off your order when you enter the word EDGE at checkout. Looking for a magnet that lists your cooking temperatures or different types of smoking woods? They got that. Need a heavy-duty set of meat shredders for your pulled pork or shredded chicken sliders? They got that too. Or my favorite is their Magic Dust Everything Rub that will spice up just about any dish. Log on to bbqnation.net. That's bbqnation.net today. And when you enter the code EDGE at checkout, you'll receive a 20% discount just because you hang out with us on the show. Barbecue Nation, get your grill on.
Here's my email address.
Use the email. We get your mail. Let's dive into Mitche's mailbag and answer some of your burning questions.
I am very excited to dive into my mailbag this week. We've been getting a tremendous amount of mail from y'all, and I really appreciate all the love you've been sending. Our first question comes from Peter in Cleveland, Ohio. He writes, "Hey Mitch, I've been a big fan since I bought your book, The Passionate Life. That was a couple days ago, and have tried to keep up on your books as they come out. I opened an online auction company about 2 years ago and have not been able to crack the code of becoming profitable. I'm the only employee and work about 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, but I do take a half a day off on Sundays. Well, good for you, Pete. My family never sees me, and I forgot what it was like to have a hobby. What do you recommend I do short of shutting down, which I am not willing to do at this point since I have most of my savings invested into the business? Well, Pete, it sounds like you have fallen into the old entrepreneur trap of letting the business kind of overtake your life. And I could probably spend a whole day with you talking about this, but let me see if I can boil it down to about 3 of the most important things that you can do. Number 1, you need to sit down and write out a list of all the activities that you do in and for your business. And I do mean everything. Write it down. Then I want you to break those activities up into the following 3 categories. The first one is what I call your foundational $15 to $20 an hour activities. This is things that keep your business moving down the road. Things like answering the phone, working on your website, filling customer orders, and things like that. The second category are your $50 an hour activities. And this is the day-to-day management of your business. Sales goals and objectives, designing marketing collateral, networking, customer service, etc. Then there's the $500 an hour activities, which, Pete, this is where you should be spending the majority of your time. These are things that actually grow your revenues and build your business. You've heard the old saying about working on the business instead of working in the business. Well, you've been sucked into the working in your business, and it's preventing you from spending your valuable time on the tasks that can actually grow your business. So that's number 1. Number 2, you need to come up with a game plan on hiring an employee. And I know this might be hard to hear, but you need to hire somebody to take care of your, if nothing else, the $15 to $20 an hour tasks. And in your mind right now, you are yelling at me. I can hear you. I hear you. You can't afford to hire somebody. Well, Pete, it will actually save you money by bringing in a part-time employee. It's actually going to be less expensive for you. Right now, you are not putting any real value on your time. And we need to change that mindset to one that says that your time does have a value, a tremendous value. Not only will you get a majority of your time back to reinvest into the management and the building of your company, but you're going to have some time that you can spend with that family of yours. And in your email, you said that you don't have time to spend with your family, which I assume that means you have kids. Well, Pete, before you know it, your kids are all grown up with families of their own, and you will wonder where all that time went. And I don't want you to be one of those guys. If I were to guess, I would say that one of the main reasons that you started a business in the first place is so that you could have the financial freedom and the time freedom to be able to enjoy a life a little bit, right? You wanted to be able to spend more time with the people in your life that meant the most. Well, here you are, 100 hours a week later. Now, being an online business, you may be able to hire a virtual assistant that is not necessarily headquartered in the U.S. You may be able to hire an extremely proficient and professional worker for $5 to $10 an hour. Or if you need someone here in the States, $15 to $20 an hour will get you a wonderful person that can take care of some of that pressure that has been on your shoulders that I know you're feeling, my man. Don't feel bad. It's a common trap that most entrepreneurs fall into. And one of the goals of this show is to help people to work less and live more. And we're always looking for ways to work smarter and more efficiently so that we can build the lifestyle of our dreams and then reverse engineer to figure out what our business blueprint needs to look like from there. The problem is that a majority of entrepreneurs and forward thinkers like you, Pete, have fallen prey to the working for yourself siren and have forsaken the things in life that have the most meaning. Our families have taken the biggest hit in the last 20 to 30 years, I would say. If you spend an extra 2 hours at the office on a Saturday morning, that's 2 hours that has had to come from some other activity, like playing with your kids or spending time with your spouse or something as simple as just going to the driving range and hitting a bucket of balls. Something had to be sacrificed in order for you to be able to spend that little bit of extra time at the office. You can't magically invent a 25th hour. It doesn't happen unless you have a special power that can make it so, and I don't think you do. When starting out, the temptation to want to do everything is extremely overwhelming, and the main reason is because we know how to do it. and we mistakenly think that we will save money by doing everything ourselves. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. And if you start out that way, guess what? Those habits and those routines become embedded into our brains so deep that it becomes very difficult to break free from them. And number 3, I want you to create a new and improved schedule for yourself that includes time for working, of course, time dedicated for just your family, and time dedicated for just you, okay? And then I want you to make sure that you do everything in your power to make sure that you stick to this schedule. It may take a little time to get used to, but it will be well worth it. And just remember why it was that you got into this game in the first place. Thanks for the email, Pete. All right, next question comes from Juliet in Susanville, California. Side note from Mom. My 12-year-old listens to your show with me every week and wants me to pass on her question to you. She wants to own her own business one day, and we find that your show is giving her some good advice on what she needs to think about. Well, Mom, thank you for listening in, and thank you even more for bringing your daughter along for the ride. So here's her note to me. Mr. Mitch. How cute is that? My brother has a job delivering papers on Sunday mornings, but I'm not old enough to do that job. What job do you think I should do to make money for the summer? XOXO, Juliet. Hugs and kisses. That's nice. First of all, Juliet, it's awesome that you enjoy listening to the show with your mom, and I'm so happy to hear that you want to be your own boss one day, and that your mom is exposing you to this type of information so early in your life. That is incredible. I have a funny feeling that there is something extra special in store for you when you grow up, Juliet. And as far as what you can do to make money, or shall we say, what kind of business can you start at the ripe old age of 12? Let me count the ways. Well, first of all, is there anything that you enjoy doing already, like cooking or baking or sewing or yard work? If so, you may already have the answer right there. Since I'm a big believer in kids and parents doing things together, how about if we talk your mom into being a partner in Juliet's Gourmet Baking Company? How does that sound? And your first product is going to be your secret recipe gourmet chocolate chip cookies. I think that every mom in the world has a recipe for really good chocolate chip cookies. So your mom can help you with that. The first thing I want you to do is go to the store and look at the packaging for other cookies that are on the market already. Take a notepad, okay, because you want to take some notes, and if you have a camera, take some of those as well so you guys can talk about it later on. Very important. Notice the colors, the graphics, the photos that are on the labels, the fonts, meaning the style of the lettering in the logo and on the packaging. Then go home and start scribbling ideas down on what you want your logo and packaging to look like. I would recommend you start by selling them in either a 2-pack or a 3-pack to make it easier for people to say yes. If you only have them by the dozen, you may have a lot of people that say no just because, number one, it's more expensive, but number two, it's a lot of cookies to eat. For my house, not at all, but so offer them in a 2-pack or a 3-pack, more likely to say yes. This way you can also charge more for each cookie than as opposed to selling them by the dozen like most places. You can use things like Ziploc bags for your packaging. You can go to your local office supply store and get some peel and stick labels for your label. Perhaps a shipping label size will work well for the front of your bag. Then head to the kitchen to perfect your recipe and figure out what size you want each cookie to be. You can sit down with mom or dad, have them help you with designing a simple little flyer that has your photo, maybe a picture of the cookie, and a little bit of information about who you are, because remember, people love buying from kids. And of course, the prices. Then make a list of all your friends and families who you can call. If you live in a neighborhood, I want you to go door to door and knock on every single door asking people if they would like to buy your fresh-baked, gourmet, world-famous chocolate chip cookies. And doing something like this will expose you to several important skill sets that you will need, Juliet, like sales, marketing, cost of goods, production, cost controls, money management, how to work with others, which is an important thing, actually a very, very vital thing when it comes to being an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for that question, Juliet, and let me know how things go. Hello, Unleashed Tribe. I am so honored to have you as a loyal listener, and I'm very excited to tell you about the Business Edge Radio app, now available on Apple and Android devices. You can catch up on past episodes, watch short videos of the Business Edge Minute, our 60-second show that gives you quick and easy tips on building a better business and living a better life. And you'll get access to bonus materials that are only available on the app. In fact, I have a nice little PDF bonus waiting for you there right now. Plus, you can email the show, call the show, connect with us on social, check out our website, and even make a nice fluffy omelet. No, you can't really do that. Just go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and you can download the Business Edge Radio app so you can be one of the cool kids on your block. Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and life. Now available in the App Store. Download it today. And if you don't, I'll come visit you on your day off. If you know anything about me, you know that I love my early mornings, and I really love a good cup of fresh roasted coffee. There's nothing better than getting started before the rest of the world with a good cup of joe. That's why I'm so excited to have Mountain Creek Coffee as a partner. The process is so simple. You order, they roast, they ship, you enjoy. They don't roast your beans until an order is placed, which guarantees the absolute freshest coffee that you can get. Check out their artisan dark roast, medium roast, or decaf beans at mtncreekcoffee.com. And when you put in the code EDGE at checkout, you will receive 20% off your first order. I prefer the dark roast because of its full body and bold flavor. You order, they roast, they ship, you enjoy. Log on to mtncreekcoffee.com and enter the code EDGE at checkout, and you will receive a 20% discount off your first order. Pretty cool stuff. Mountain Creek Coffee and Business Edge Radio, a partnership brewed out of the love of coffee. See what I did right there?
Here's my email address.
Use the email.
Email.
We get your mail. Let's dive into Mitche's Mailbag and answer some of your burning questions.
Thank you so much for overflowing our inbox and for all your wonderful questions and your stories that you're sharing. If you would like us to read your question on the air, send an email to info@powermarketing101.com. That's info@powermarketing101.com. And you may just hear your name on a future show. Our first question comes from, I believe it's pronounced Valorette in Tampa Bay, Florida. And she writes, Mitch, thank you for putting out this show. I enjoy the wide variety of information that you cover, and I'm trying to implement some of the techniques into my own business. Well, thanks for listening, Valorette. I do appreciate that. During the pandemic shutdown, we lost nearly all our revenues from our family business, and it has devastated our local community. My husband has suggested that we fold up the tent and go back to work, but nobody is hiring right now. What do you recommend we do? Well, first of all, my heart goes out to every business owner, every employee that's been affected by this, and every family that has been hit hard by what's happened. My own personal businesses have been impacted drastically as well. I own 4 companies currently, one of them being a very high-volume catering company that does work throughout the entire Pacific Northwest. Companies like the San Francisco Giants baseball team, Permanente Hospitals, Intel, Amazon, as well as many other top companies in the Northwest, plus tons of weddings. So here's an example of how crazy the world is right now. Our catering company was voted the Pacific Northwest Caterer of the Year for 2020. We also just received an award for being the best of the Willamette Valley, which is where we operate. And we have absolutely no work. Everything was canceled because of COVID-19. Close to $500,000, never to be recouped, gone. So I can totally understand and relate to anyone who owns a business that has experienced a loss of revenues. But what this has given us a chance to do, and when we were busy all the time, we didn't have the time, is to evaluate everything, every aspect of the business, analyze our systems, making sure that our brand and our marketing and our sales processes are the best they can be, and to kind of go through a mini rebrand, which has actually been very energizing. In a sense, it has enabled us to be able to slow down and mentally get involved again with the foundational elements of our business. And I've been able to do this with my other 3 companies as well, and I think it will make a huge difference moving forward. Valorette, I know this hurts, and without knowing all the details of what your business is and how it operates, I challenge you to use this opportunity. Yes, I said opportunity, and try to return to the days right before you open your business for the first time. With all the enthusiasm and the energy, your ideas, your dreams, this moment right now really is an opportunity for you and other businesses across the country to reignite your passion and to make sure you give yourself permission to do some of that brainstorming for a breakthrough. Giving up on a goal because of a setback is kind of like slashing your other 3 tires because you get a flat. I know it's been difficult, and it will remain difficult for the foreseeable future, but the sun always rises the next day. Keep the faith, Valorette, and thank you so much for your question. Next email comes all the way from Nova Scotia, Canada. Scott writes, "Hey there, Mitch. My wife and I have a small dog grooming business in our town, and we never have had a logo done. We just have the name of our business in letters stenciled on the door. Do you suggest we have an actual logo, or is it really necessary?" Absolutely, it's necessary, and let me tell you why. When I say the word Nike, what's the first thing you think of? It's not shoes or sweats. It's that Nike swoosh. It's that check mark, which is their graphic representation of who they are. Everything they do is built around that graphic presentation of their brand. And they put that out front way before they talk about any of their products. And that's for a very precise reason. The swoosh has tremendous value in the world. It represents quality, consistency, and a certain lifestyle, right? Or Starbucks. Or in Canada, Tim Hortons. That logo flashes in your brain before you think about what kind of products and services they offer. Coca-Cola, Hilton Hotels. Before you see a cup of coffee or a donut or a soda or a bed, you see the logo that is associated with their brand. And you should also have some sort of mental imagery that is created when people hear your name. And you don't have to break the bank in order to do this. I suggest checking out Upwork.com or Fiverr.com. That's Fiverr.com. You can hire phenomenal graphic designers from all around the globe that will give you a lovely logo at a quite reasonable price. Then you need to make sure that this graphic is on your website, on your business cards, on any marketing collateral you have, and of course on your door. Great question, Scott. Thank you for sending it in. Sydney in Houston asks, "Mitch, really enjoying your energy and unique way of looking at building a business. Thank you so much. I've been one of those workaholics since I started working at my job 7 years ago, putting in 60 hours a week. I need to work those hours to get the work done. I have a 1-hour commute each way each day, which turns my already long day into a nightmare. I feel like I should quit and try a new job, but I really like the people I work with. Do you suggest I approach my boss? And if so, what should I tell him?" Well, first of all, talking to your boss is never a bad thing, and it might actually solve your problem toot sweet. You might have a solution right in front of you. But here's what else I'm going to suggest. I'm thinking that you can probably be more efficient with your working hours, and here's how we're going to accomplish that. During your drive to and from work, I assume that you scan your radio looking for songs that you like or listening to the news or something like that. I want you to instead invest that time into listening to podcasts on productivity, on time management, on delegation, on prioritizing. And I bet my bottom dollar you are going to pick up some great ideas and techniques that you can implement into your day that will relieve some of this time pressure that you're currently feeling. Even if you can free up an additional 1 hour a day, that's 20 hours a month, 240 hours a year. And with that extra 10 days, just imagine what good things you could do. I know I may try to make this sound simple, and it very well may be, but sometimes it's the little things that makes the biggest difference. Good luck with your project. Heather from Portland, Oregon asks, "I have an idea for a product that we have fiddled around with for years. We have a prototype that still needs to be tweaked before it's ready for market. but we don't have the funds to make the tweaks the right way. It's an idea for a kneeling pad for your garden that is quite a bit different than others on the market. We made some simple samples in our kitchen, but just don't have the resources to make it perfect. What do you recommend? Man, that's a great question, and I think it's a situation that a lot of business owners find themselves in. They want to continue to tweak and tweak and tweak until it's just right. Well, I'm going to give you some very rudimentary advice here, Heather. Done is better than perfect. If you're waiting for things to be perfect, you will never be able to launch this product to the world. There's always going to be some little thing that you want to improve on or some aspect of your design that you want to make better. Well, I promise you, you will always find something that you want to improve. It's just the nature of creation. You mentioned that you already have made some samples, so here's what I suggest you do. First of all, I want you to take several photos of your product in action. Take a sample to your garden and actually use it. Take a few photos and save them to a folder on your computer. Next, I want you to write out a description of your product, and maybe you already have this, in the following format. Describe the problem. Dirty knees, sore knees, hard surfaces, or whatever problem you think this product solves. Then describe the solution for the problem, which is where your product comes in. Come up with the hard cost for how much each one costs you to produce, then a reasonable markup that accounts for the time required to produce each one, and of course some profit built in. Then last, I assume you guys have some sort of following on social media platforms. I want you to make a private post on Facebook for only your circle of friends and get some instant feedback. Let them know that you have them for sale for X dollars and see if they would be interested in giving them a try. Beyond that, you can investigate getting a small, inexpensive booth at a Saturday market or a bazaar at a local church, or some other types of shows that are affordable. This will give you the opportunity to take the product for a test drive. And taking this approach will do a couple things, Heather. First, it will act as your proof of concept for the product to see if there's a market for it. And second, it will allow you to generate a little bit of cash flow that you can reinvest back into the product to make more. And then the fun begins. Thanks for your question, Heather. And last one today comes from Seth in good old London, England, across the pond. He writes, "Hi, Mitch. I have an online business that sells a unique design of dog bed. They are made locally by a pet store owner, and it retails for $150 USD. Sales have been very slow, and I'm thinking it's because of the price." You might be onto something there, Seth. I don't want to discount any more than I already have, otherwise there's nothing left for me. Well, here's what I would do if I were you, Seth. There's an old sales and marketing concept that's been around for years that says good, better, best, meaning that you can offer 3 products. Some people buy because of price alone. That's the good version. Some people buy because they think it's the best. That's the best version. And some people like to be right in the middle, the better version. I'm thinking that since your supplier makes his own beds, he should be able to offer you 3 options for your customers to select from. Perhaps a $50 stripped down product without any frills or special features, one that includes some special features, and then one that includes all the special features, all the bells and whistles. I would talk with him and see what he's willing to do to put something together like this for you. This will give you access to an entirely new financial demographic out there and could be your answer. Well, thanks for all your great questions today, folks. If you would like me to possibly answer your question on the air, send us an email at info@powermarketing101.com and you may hear your name on a future show.
Hello, Unleashed Tribe. I am so honored to have you as a loyal listener, and I'm very excited to tell you about the Business Edge Radio app, now available on Apple and Android devices. You can catch up on past episodes, watch short videos of the Business Edge Minute, our 60-second show that gives you quick and easy tips on building a better business and living a better life. And you'll get access to bonus materials that are only available on the app. In fact, I have a nice little PDF bonus waiting for you there right now. Plus, you can email the show, call the show, connect with us on social, check out our website, and even make a nice fluffy omelet.
No, you can't really do that. Just go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and you can download the Business Edge Radio app so you can be one of the cool kids on your block. Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and life. Now available in the App Store. Download it today. And if you don't, I'll come visit you on your day off. Fans of Business Edge Radio, I have a very special treat for you. As you know, I love barbecuing and making up any excuse to get myself outdoors. And that's why I'm so excited to partner with Barbecue Nation. They make incredible sauces and rubs and spices and meat shredders and grill scrapers and lots more. And they're offering a deal for our listeners. Check out bbqnation.net. And when you place an order for any of their products, you'll receive a 20% discount off your order when you enter the word EDGE at checkout. Looking for a magnet that lists your cooking temperatures or different types of smoking woods? They got that. Need a heavy-duty set of meat shredders for your pulled pork or shredded chicken sliders? They got that too. Or my favorite is their Magic Dust Everything Rub that will spice up just about any dish. Log on to bbqnation.net. That's bbqnation.net today. And when you enter the code EDGE at checkout, you'll receive a 20% discount just because you hang out with us on the show. Barbecue Nation, get your grill on.
Here's my email address.
Just the email.
Email.
We get your mail. Let's dive into Mitche's Mailbag and answer some of your burning questions.
We have some wonderful questions today that have been coming into our email this week. Let's see what we have. First email comes from Allison in Buffalo, New York. She writes, Mitch, we've been enjoying your show on Saturdays and have been loving your 24/7 lifestyle idea. My son and I live together and currently have 2 full-time jobs out of the home, but would like to purchase a small bed and breakfast that is outside of town and split up the responsibilities of running it on a day-to-day basis. I've been thinking about how I can make my living working only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, then not working the rest of the time. What I find is that even though I might not ever be able to get to that number, the concept keeps me wanting to find ways of working smarter. I will let you know how things go and if we decide to purchase the bed and breakfast. Well, Allison, thanks for the email. I appreciate the fact that you are trying to incorporate the 24/7 mentality into your own personal lifestyle. And just to remind people what this is about, the traditional definition of a 24/7 means 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, keeping your nose to the grindstone all the time, never letting up, forsaking all things in order to make your venture successful. And let me ask you a question, and it doesn't matter what you do for a living. If there was a way that you can get all your work done, whatever was required of you, working more efficiently with the laser beam focus by working 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, and the rest of the time you'd be free to do whatever you wanted to do, would that lifestyle be of interest to you? In my experience, everyone answers a big, fat, emphatic yes to that question. Here's a couple of thoughts on this subject, Allison. The 24/7 lifestyle is a philosophy more than it's something that you want to try to attain 100%. Just having that as your shining beacon on the hill is enough to improve the quality of your life. Even if you become more efficient with your daily duties and learn to eliminate your wasted motions, even if you can only free up an hour a day to do what you wanted, 5 hours a week, would that have the potential to revolutionize your entire life? You bet. If we all can simply learn to constantly analyze and evaluate what activities make up our days, we would find that there is actually quite a bit of excess energy that is expended that gives us very little or no return on our time investment. Typically, that percentage is around 80% of our activities brings us 20% of our results. So if you flip that around, 20% of our efforts brings us 80% of the results. We need to focus on getting rid of those near zero return activities. And that frees up time that we can reinvest into the top 20% of our activities that brings us the 80%. And if we can do that, the 24/7 lifestyle won't just be a beacon on the hill, but it will be your way of life. Allison, thanks for the thoughts and the update, and I look forward to hearing about what happens with that bed and breakfast. All right, this one is from Dawn and Mary in Houston, Texas. Dawn, D-A-W-N. Dawn and Mary in Houston, Texas. Mary writes, Hi, Mitch. We've had a string of bad reviews online for our small deli, and many of our good customers have stopped coming. The complaints are that we are too slow with getting orders out and that they don't feel that we care that things are slow. We have tried everything to get the orders done quickly, but it seems no matter what we do, it's not good enough. How should we deal with all the negative reviews that we are getting? Well, first of all, guys, I know it's difficult when something that you pour your heart and soul into starts to turn sour. It hurts, and it hurts bad. From a business standpoint, you are much better off having impeccable service and average products than you are having the worst service but the best products in the world. You're in a tough spot right now, and it's the reality that you're facing. You got two choices. First, you can simply do whatever you've been doing, and eventually you're going to go out of business. Or number two, you can take this problem by the horns and actually turn it into a positive. And here's how I would go about doing that. First of all, you need to reach out and make personal contact with each person who has left you a negative review. Find out exactly what they found so disappointing that they felt inclined to write the review. Listen to them. Hopefully this can be on a phone call. Listen to them intently. Take notes. Let them know that you appreciate everything that they're telling you and that you appreciate their business. Let them know that you're going to be making corrections to the way things are and would love it if they would give you another chance to make things right. I would offer them a gift certificate to come and enjoy a couple of meals on you. Ask that they give you a little time to work on the issues, then move on to the next one. Continue doing this until you've reached out to every single one of those people that left you something negative. Next, you need to take that list of grievances back to your office, sit down with your management team, or the two of you, and analyze each and every one of them. You're going to need to look at all your systems. Your front of house, your back of house, everything, and I do mean everything, needs to be broken down and then rebuilt with fewer moving pieces so that things are more efficient and smoother. If they can run faster and smoother with less chance of error, good things will happen. From what you've stated, it sounds like a lot of your issues are rooted in the service that you're providing. All that customers want from you, Mary, besides a nice meal, is to be appreciated and respected. Even if they must wait a little bit longer for their food, it's on you to let them know that you are aware that it's an inconvenience to them. And in most cases, just acknowledging their feelings will be enough to buy you some more time and patience from impatient customers. I can remember countless times that I've went out to eat at a restaurant and had to wait for a table or wait for my food. But if the staff showed that they're fully aware of the extra time that it was taking and would make sure they stayed in touch with me, bringing me baskets of chips and salsa or bread and cheese, that wait became a little more bearable. The times that the staff didn't communicate with me, those restaurants didn't get me back again. And this comes down to the training of your staff. They must, above all else, put your customers' needs ahead of everything else on their duties list. This applies to your cooks in the back, your preppers, your servers, your cashier. Everyone must have a sense of urgency about getting those orders out as fast as they can so that these types of issues don't continue to happen. And remember that your customers' perceptions are your reality. Whether or not you agree with what they say, the customer is always right, even when they're not, if that makes sense. And next, once you've rebuilt your systems and retrained your staff, I want you to make a point of soliciting feedback at all times. Having a feedback loop is something that all businesses need to have in place so that they can keep the thumb on the pulse of how things are going. Maybe put a comments box by the register with survey forms on the tables, and you can give a special little something for everyone who fills one out, maybe a free beverage or a piece of pie or a cookie. Spend time each week going over them, making sure to incorporate the suggestions that have relevance and that will also improve that customer experience. Over time, you will see a mindset shift in your customer base. I would also reach out again to every bad review, let them know that you've made some positive changes, invite them back to see you again. You might just be surprised that some of these bad reviews turn into some of your best customers if done correctly. Customers are always right, even when they're wrong. All right, next email is from Lisa from, I don't know where from. We'll call her from I don't knowsville. Anyways, she writes, how do you determine what to charge for a product that is homemade or handmade? I bought a bunch of soap making materials at an auction and would like to go into business making soap. We have several farmers markets and shows in my local area where I could sell them. I also think I could sell them to several of my friends and family. Lisa, great question. And the equation is much easier than you are probably thinking. You don't need to complicate things too much here at the very beginning. First of all, you need to assign a cost to each of the ingredients that go into making a bar of soap, whatever those are. I'm sure you have a recipe of sorts that you're going to be using. If you don't know the replacement costs of the items you purchase at the auction, do some research online and find out the hard cost of every single ingredient, okay? Then you're going to make a batch. And let's say you end up with a dozen bars. You end up with 12 bars. Add everything up, including whatever your packaging is going to be, whether it be a box or a band or a shrink wrap. Add up all your costs for the entire batch, divided by 12, and that gives you your cost for one bar. At the same time, I want you to track how much time it takes for you to make the entire batch, and that includes the time you spent sourcing out products and placing orders, packaging, all of it. Let's say it takes you 2 hours all in. Next step is for you to do some competitive research, find out what other soap companies in your market are charging, how big their bars are, how yours stacks up as far as packaging and fragrance, etc. And the final step is you will need to assign a value to your time. And I want you to remember that your time is the most valuable asset that you have. Now at the beginning, this is going to be a little bit flexible, but you need to assign a value to your time. So let's do some basic math here. I'm going to use round numbers just for example purposes. Let's say that you calculate that each batch costs $12 to make. That's $1 per bar. And let's also say that when you do your competitive analysis, you find that other soaps in your market are selling for $4 to $5 a bar for the same size. So if you charge $5 a bar, that's $60 in sales for the entire batch, less your hard cost of $12. So right now, at first glance, you are left with $48 of what is called gross margin, okay? If you assign a value for your time of $15 an hour, that's a total of $30. That would leave a profit of $18 before buying more product, investing in your packaging, etc. Now at the beginning, I recommend you not pay yourself at all until your business reaches critical mass where you can pull money out for yourself. This is very exciting, Lisa. Creation is, to me, the most enjoyable part of being in business for yourself. You have the ultimate say in what your product will look like, what it smells like, how much to charge for it, and how much you will get paid. And as you grow, you will learn so many valuable lessons on what to do, what not to do. I wish you all the luck in the world, Lisa, and thanks for the great question. If you have a question or a comment that you would like me to answer on the air, just send an email to info@powermarketing101.com, and maybe I will read your email on the air.
And there you have it, a full hour of Q&A from all walks of life. I hope you enjoyed this special edition of Business Edge Radio, and my parting shot today is this. When I was 5 years old, my mother always told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I wrote down happy. They told me I didn't understand the assignment, and I told them they didn't understand life. John Lennon. Until next time, this is Mitch Graff reminding you to live every day like it's a Saturday and to live with passion. I'll catch you later.
Thanks for hanging out with Business Edge Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to subscribe, rate, and review. Then hop on over to www.mitchgraff.com to get even more meat and potatoes. We also invite you to follow the show at facebook.com/Unleashed Tribe. The most valuable asset that any of us has is our time. And we thank you for choosing to spend some of your precious time with us.